subscribe to this channel and also turn on your notification bell in order to get our latest updates. The president of the interim government of the Ambazonian struggle for independence, Dr.SakoEkome Sako, has for the past few weeks been seriously criticized by some of his very close members of government. Among those who seriously criticize him is Chris Anu. Chris Anu used to be Secretary of Communication for the interim government, commonly known as the IG, before his relationship with Sako fell apart. Please listen to this short clip of one of Chris Anu's latest outings.
Fellow Ambazonians, sakoEkome Sako has been impeached and removed as President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the last corrupt person standing. We defended him. We stood with him. I, in particular, defended him, stood with him, because I thought this was a harmless gentleman, a harmless pastor who could do us no bad. We all trusted him until our eyes began to get open, realizing exactly the con person, the fraudster that he turns out to be. We have said no. He will be the last fraudster leading this interim government.
In early February 2022, the Restoration Council of the IG, that is the judiciary wing of the government, said they have impeached the president on basis of violation of the constitution and mismanagement of funds. In reaction to the allegations and in an attempt to defend himself, Sako called all those who were against him coup plotters. The situation that has fragmented the IG into two camps, that is the Sako scam and Chris Anu's scam. On February 2022, Chris Anu's scam presented their new president and vice in the name of Dr. Tita Emmanuel and Iya Njomia respectively. The new president, Dr. Tita Emmanuel, however, in less than 24 hours after he was sworn in, presented a letter of resignation. His reasons for resigning were that there were no clear evidence for the impeachment of SakoEkome and that he was misinformed. The current saga within the Sako's IG has left many of his followers with questions hanging in the air on the fate of the IG, a group that was strongly believed to be one of those that could move the struggle forward. Please stay tuned and listen to the video that follows, and also consider to subscribe to our channel and equally turn on your notification bell in order not to miss our latest updates. Thanks. Bye for now.
There is an audio out there that is making the rounds in the social media, and the audio is a message coming from sakoEkome Sako, the impeached president. Ladies and gentlemen, the audio is coming from him. Now, in that audio out there, Sako is crying foul that February happens to be a very bad month in the history of the Ambazonian struggle. Sako says a lot of things have taken place in February. He is indeed very, very correct. So many things, bad things in that matter, have taken place inside the month of February. It was inside the month of February that we saw AFCON, ladies and gentlemen, AFCON taking place in Ambazonia. It was inside the month of February, ladies and gentlemen, that we saw 11 February re-celebrated in our territory. Fellow Ambazonians, we are all aware that for the past 5 years, since we relaunched this phase of our emancipation struggle, we banished 20th May in our territory. We banished 11 February from our territory. We banished mountain raids, so-called mountain raids, from our territory. We banished French Cameroon organized elections from our territory. We have banished every vestige of La République du Cameroon from our territory for the last 5 years and counting. But inside this February, we have seen mountain raids take place. We saw 11 February take place. Above all, we saw AFCON take place. But we also saw a president that we all elected, ladies and gentlemen, take the laws into his hands. He took the laws into his hands and decided to break the interim government, fractionalize it. Now we have two APPs. One, the original APP, and the pseudo APP that he now presides over. He has divided the counties. You have county chairs who are seated with him and those who say he is a fraud. They will never see eye to eye with him. Ladies and gentlemen, you have two cabinets out there. One cabinet that is in the crypto ring with him, fraudsters with him, and you have others outside who are saying it was a curse to have him, to have Sako as leader of Ambazonia for his fraudulent schemes. Then, ladies and gentlemen, all these are happening inside the month of February. To crown this up, he is impeached by the he is impeached by the Restoration Council. He is impeached by not just impeached, but impeached and removed by the Restoration Council, ladies and gentlemen. And so he has the guts to come out to warn Ambazonians to believe. Some coup plotters all came on in the month of February and wanted to take the last man standing, as he wants people to believe. He wants you to believe he is the last man standing. He may be tried. He is the last corrupt man standing in this administration, in this government of Ambazonia, ladies and gentlemen. He is the last corrupt person standing. We defended him. We stood with him. I, in particular, defended him, stood with him, because I thought this was a harmless gentleman, a harmless pastor who could do us no bad. We all trusted him until our eyes began to get open, realizing exactly the con person, the fraudster that he turns out to be. We have said no. He will be the last fraudster leading this interim government. Ladies and gentlemen, he will be the last one standing leading this interim government. And let me say this. He keeps on addressing himself as president. Fellow Ambazonians, SakoEkome Sako has been impeached and removed as president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. And we are sending a strong message to every county chair out there still identifying with him, because in a matter of days to come, we will expose what binds all of you together. And anybody who thinks that he can fraternize with SakoEkome Sako from the National Treasury of Ambazonia with Ambazonia's money, we will expose what binds all of you together. SakoEkome Sako is no longer the president of Ambazonia. He was impeached and removed, and anything he does is illegal, unconstitutional, unrecognizable, null and void. And going forward, we are taking every action to address it within the international media and the international diplomatic circle. We are addressing it there. We are taking it there. Samuel Sako days are numbered in whatever fraud he is trying to perpetuate right here, right now, in this struggle, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, he was right to say February was a bad month, because all the money he collected from Ambazonians for AFCON, to stop AFCON, nothing happened. And Samuel Ekome Sako has not as much as offered a single statement. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a person you call your leader. For those of you still calling him a leader, he has not as much as stepped out to use his ABC to explain to any of you what happened with AFCON. A responsible leader, even when he envisages failure, will step out in the aftermath to say, fellow countrymen, my apologies, I am sorry, we did our best, but our best was not enough, we failed, I promise you we will do better next time. Samuel Sako has not as much as stepped out one time, ladies and gentlemen, to explain to Ambazonians what happened to AFCON. What happened to AFCON? He has not. That's not a responsible leader. But the question that everybody asks is, what happened to the thousands of dollars that Samuel Ekome Sako collected from Ambazonians, from the counties, from the drives, to use it to stop AFCON? Ladies and gentlemen, what happened to that money? What happened to the draft for Sako? There is this woman out there in London called Elizabeth, is it Jamboree or Jambelele or something like that, whom Sako picked to be the interim chair for Sako. Ladies and gentlemen, I am challenging that lady, Elizabeth Jambelele, to step out and tell Ambazonians, where is Sako's money? Where is Sako's money? We need accounting for those funds. What about 11th February, ladies and gentlemen? Again, in the history of this struggle, 5 years and counting, 11th February, we stopped celebrating 11th February in Ambazonia. We stopped celebrating 20th May. We start entertaining the so-called mountain race. Last week, 11 February took place in Ambazonia. And the person who wants you to believe he is your leader, ladies and gentlemen, has not come out to offer a single statement or an apology for why 11 February was celebrated in Ambazonia. He has not. But Samuel Ekome Sako is holding meetings day and night. I mean, literally, days and night. In fact, the work that Samuel Ekome Sako has done, ladies and gentlemen, within the past 4 months, overshadows all that he has done for his past 4 years as leader of Ambazonia. Sako is holding meeting now on a daily basis, sometimes 3 or 4 meetings a day. Until I challenge him, ladies and gentlemen, he will not even call for a single cabinet meeting. He won't call for a single cabinet meeting until he was challenged. Cabinet had gone for 3 months without a single meeting. In fact, he wanted to stop cabinet from even having meetings. He just wanted to rule by executive orders. Executive order, that means by decree. By decree. But for the past 4 months, he has worked more than he did for the past 4 years in this struggle. But you will think that in that busyness, he will include an explanation as to what happened to 11 February and what happened to Chan. He has not. He has not. Ambazonians, I ask you, listen to the sound of my voice. Listen to the sound of my voice. You cannot continue to put a dime in the hands of Samuel Ekome Sako. If he collected thousands, probably close to $100,000 for Sako and AFCON, and has not as much as given a single accounting as to what happened, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, a dime did not go to the boys on the ground to save Ambazonia of AFCON. A dime did not. The fighters on the ground, they have said they did not receive anything. And he is just coming out every day. Lava storm 1, lava storm 2, lava storm. You know, that is what con people do. They come out with big names, high sounding projects, but you see absolutely nothing. For 4 years, I worked with SakoEkome Sako. He undertook lava storm. He undertook county what do they call it? County marshals or federal marshals. All these projects, we cannot count, we don't see one that materialized. Yet, hundreds of thousands of dollars went into this. Ladies and gentlemen, if anything Sako should be doing now, if anything Ambazonians should be demanding of SakoEkome, it is an audit, accountability for all the funds that went into the national treasury and all the funds that were handed into his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, if this struggle, God forbid, this struggle should go down, SakoEkome Sako would owe every Ambazonian an account for what happened with all the money put in his disposal. For 4 years or so, this struggle has raised not less than $3 million. This struggle has raised not less than $3 million. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have to show for it? What do we have to show for it? We do not have anything to show for it. So please listen to me. When you receive those audios from SakoEkome Sako lamenting out there as the only one who is trying to fight La République du Cameroun, ladies and gentlemen, ask him to go for an audit. We want to know where FACO money went to. We have now also learned he borrowed money from the National Treasury. I will not disclose the details here, but we are also learning that he borrowed cash, ladies and gentlemen, from your National Treasury. I do not understand how anybody put in charge of the Treasury will borrow a dime to any person in that matter, as if the National Treasury is a bank. It is not a bank. And whoever borrowed SakoEkome Sako money, Ambazonia's own money, from the National Treasury of Ambazonia, that person will be held to account. Whoever signed that money to him, ladies and gentlemen, that person must be held to account. The National Treasury is not a bank. The National Treasury is there to fund projects for Ambazonia. And if he has the guts to borrow money to a leader who has embezzled almost all of the money in the first place, they will have to explain. And which is the reason why I continue to tell all of you out there, Ambazonians, please, hold on to your money. Do not give a dime, not even CID. Not even CID. And if your country or county chairperson is one of those dining with SakoEkome Sako, withhold that draft. It should not get into their pockets because they will invest it in Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, they will invest it in Bitcoin. We must resolve. We cannot continue to have leaders who cannot give accounts to the money put at their disposal. They said Chris Anu was running away from an audit. I'm challenging them. I have been there. I want to see them. I want to see SakoEkome Sako. Get out there, ladies and gentlemen. Get out there. Sit in there for that audit. Tell us what happened to my trip to Boya. Tell us what happened to draft 1, draft 2. Tell us what happened to all the 20%. Tell us what happened to all the president's basket. Tell us what happened to lava 1, lava 2, lava 3, president's corner, and so on and so forth. What happened to all those funds? And let me also add this. You are being told that some 135,000 pass-through secretaries annual. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. That money alone was supposed to be money for farm tools we were working on. I had no idea how those farm tools were paid for. I didn't touch a dime of what went. In fact, I didn't even know when and how and who did what in paying for those farm tools. But this is what I found out. I found out from those who have knowledge of it that about $80,000 was the amount of money that was paid for that project. Now, Samuel Sako and Frank Chinye, the Bitcoin ring merchants, they are out there making up the story that some 135,000 was paid for it. Now, if we are now learning that the actual amount paid for that project was $80,000, it means $55,000 is uncounted for. If Samuel Ekome Sako and Frank Chinye says it was 135,000, the treasury is there to tell us exactly what was paid for that project, then $55,000 is missing. They should come out and explain to Ambazonians what happened to the $55,000. Ladies and gentlemen, crooks. All right, this is very, very important. Fellow Ambazonians, we are about to restructure this interim government. We are about to restructure this interim government. I promise you, I am not leaving this interim government. I am not about to see this interim government destroyed, because if anything at all has happened on ground zero, it is this interim government. We still have fighters on the ground because of this interim government, ladies and gentlemen. And we are about to make sure, this interim government is restructured, and we have even a better organized fighting force on the ground. But you cannot do so with a man you find on your screen. He is dangerous. He is dangerous to this struggle. You cannot do so with him. I say so, ladies and gentlemen. All of you know I defended him. I stood with him until I found out he was a con man. Yes. He goes to Brazil. He goes to Brazil to launch his books. And he tells Ambazonians he's going there for diplomatic mission. He calls all over the place, gets money from like 2, 3, 4 different 5 groups. And he tells them he is using this money for diplomacy. But the diplomacy is to go there and launch his book. But that is not what I want you to know. You guys have seen the video footage out there. Sako goes into that church and he tells the church he was this big pastor on ground zero. He had so many churches, to the extent God told him, you know, when they want you to believe that they are liars, they say God told them. He wouldn't explain to you how God told him. But he said God told him at a point in time to give out those churches. And so he picked his pastors. This one, go and take that church in that town. This one, go and take that church in that town. Go and take that church in this town. This guy he says he was a big pastor with so many churches that were under his control that he created, he founded. And you couldn't afford a house. You had to go for a haunted house. Is he for real, ladies and gentlemen? And you take him to be for real? A man who had so many churches and was giving them out could not afford to pay rent. And he had to go and look for a haunted house. Now you guys have now seen the owner of that house coming out to disprove him. In fact, the owner of that house has said, the house was never haunted. Samuel Sako lived in that house for 6 years and paid no dime for rent. In fact, he has said at a point in time, he went to the court trying to make documents to transform the house to claim ownership of the house. And that guy will be coming here in the days ahead to testify. Ladies and gentlemen, we thought this guy was God sent. We thought this guy was a man of God. We trusted him. I trusted him until one day, when I said to him, Mr. President, this house is falling. You got to fix it. Irene is messing up this place. She is everywhere, spreading herself. And I said, Mr. President, you got to do something. Chris became the most dangerous person for just asking for simple changes to be made for us to move on and do the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not the point. A man that I thought was a brother, a pastor, he went behind me, assassinated me. If I ever turned my back on him, I told him exactly what I'm telling you now. He crossed the red line. For him to have known better and went from one cabinet member after the other, assassinating yours truly, telling them that Chris was compromised. Chris was compromised. Chris is compromised for real? When did you know that, sir? How did you know Chris was compromised and you kept him? But I'm saying this to say that is exactly the attitude of a con person. Unfortunately, every stone they try to throw at yours truly refuses to stick. Ambazonians are smarter. But yes, February was a very bad month. You were impeached and removed for the betterment of this struggle and Ambazonia. Fellow Ambazonians,